Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me carefully. We all go through seasons in life where we face pain. Maybe it's a broken relationship, a financial setback, a health challenge, or just a weight of discouragement that makes it hard to get out of bed in the morning. And it's easy in those moments to fix our eyes on the pain, to replay the disappointment, to dwell on what didn't work out. But I want to encourage you today, don't focus on the pain. Focus on the progress. You may not be where you want to be yet, but look how far you've come. Look at what you've survived. The enemy tried to break you, but you're still standing. Life tried to push you down, but you rose back up. That's progress. Every tear you cried didn't go unnoticed by God. Every step you took in faith, even when it hurt, was planting seeds of your next victory. We all want life to be easy, smooth, and comfortable. We like the mountaintop moments when things are working out, when people are cheering us on, when prayers are being answered. But life isn't always like that. Sometimes we walk through valley. Sometimes we face heartbreak, loss, rejection, or betrayal. And in those painful seasons, it's tempting to feel forgotten, to think that something has gone wrong, or to believe that we've somehow missed our destiny. But the truth is, pain is not a detour, it's part of the journey. It's not a sign that you're off course. Often it's a sign that you're on the verge of something greater. God never promised us a life free of trouble. He never said we wouldn't face disappointment or adversity. But what He did promise is that He would use all things for our good. That means the painful parts too. The heartbreak, the struggle, the betrayal. It's not the end. It's a process. And just because it hurts doesn't mean it's not working. In fact, pain is often the evidence that something is being built within you. Think about the way muscles grow. When you lift weights, you're actually tearing the muscle fibers slightly. It causes discomfort, even pain. But that process of tearing is what triggers the body to rebuild the muscle stronger than it was before. Without the strain, without the pressure, without the pain, there would be no growth. It's the same spiritually, even mentally. The trials you're facing aren't meant to break you, they're meant to build you. When you're in pain, your emotions will tell you it's over. Your mind will say, this is too much. But deep down in your spirit, you have to remember, God is still in control. He hasn't abandoned you. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. That pain you're feeling, it has a purpose. It's shaping your character. It's stretching your faith. It's molding you into the person who can handle the blessing on the other side. Sometimes we ask God to take the pain away, but the truth is, if He removed it too early, we wouldn't become who we're meant to be. It's in the pressure that diamonds are formed. It's in the fire that gold is purified. You don't grow in the comfort, you grow in the discomfort. You grow when you're forced to rely on Him, when you're pressing forward even when it's difficult, when you choose faith over feelings. You may be thinking, but I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose this pain. No, you didn't. But you can choose what you do with it. You can choose to let it defeat you, or you can let it develop you. You can choose to stay bitter, or you can grow better. You can choose to focus on how it hurts, or you can look ahead to how it's helping you become stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more faithful. God doesn't waste anything. He sees every tear you cry, every night you stayed awake wondering if things would change, every moment you kept going when you felt like giving up. And He says, I'm not finished. I'm using this pain to build something beautiful. Sometimes it's in the pain that we find our purpose. Sometimes it's through the suffering that we learn how to rise. When your heart breaks, it opens. And in that open space, God can pour in His healing, His wisdom, His strength. What you're going through is not random. There's meaning in it. And if you'll stay in faith, you'll keep believing even when you don't understand. You'll come out not just healed, not just whole, but promoted, elevated, increased. That pain is a signal that God is stretching you for something more, something greater. Something you can't see right now, but it's already on the way. Too often we want the promise without the process. We want the promotion without the pressure. But it doesn't work that way. If you skip the pain, you miss the preparation. And without the preparation, you won't be able to carry what God has in store for you. So instead of running from it, instead of resenting it, try to lean into it. Say, oh God, I may not like this season, but I trust that you're doing something in me. I believe this pain has purpose. It's not easy. But you're not alone. And when it feels like it's too much, remember, you're not being buried, you're being planted. There's new life coming. There's resurrection on the other side. Keep going. The pain is part of the process, but the process is leading to promise. God is still working, even in this. So often in life, we're hard on ourselves. We look at where we are and say, I should be further along by now. We compare ourselves to others, how much they've achieved, how successful they seem, how confident they appear, and we think we're falling behind. But what we don't realize is that while we're busy criticizing our progress, God is celebrating it. He's not looking at where you aren't. He's looking at where you've come from. He sees the fight it took just to get here, the strength it took to keep going, the faith it took to stand up when everything inside of you wanted to quit. You may not be at your destination yet, but you're on your way, and that matters. The progress you've made, no matter how slow, no matter how small, it's significant. Don't underestimate the steps you've taken just because they aren't giant leaps. Some victories aren't loud. They're quiet, private, unseen by the world, but powerful in the eyes of God. Getting out of bed when you were depressed, that's progress. Forgiving someone who hurt you, that's progress. Choosing peace instead of reacting in anger, that's progress. Every time you chose to trust instead of worry, to believe instead of doubt, that was progress. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. Progress isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's 1 inch at a time. Sometimes it's falling down 7 times, but getting up 8. Don't let the enemy convince you that you're failing just because you haven't arrived yet. The very fact that you're still moving forward, even if it's slow, even if it's messy, means that you're growing, you're healing, you're becoming. If only you could see what God sees. He sees your resilience. He sees the inner battles you fought and won. He sees the effort you've made in secret, the discipline you've built, the prayers you've whispered through tears. Others may see the surface, but God sees the root system you're developing. And when your time comes, that foundation is going to support something incredible. Sometimes we focus so much on the gap between where we are and where we want to be that we miss the gap between where we were and where we are now. You're not the same person you were a year. You've learned. You've let go of things that used to hold you back. That's progress. And if God has brought you this far, He's not going to leave you. If there's more ahead. But it starts with recognizing what's already been done. Take a moment to celebrate your journey. We're quick to celebrate others, to applaud their victories, but we forget to give ourselves credit for the quiet daily decisions we make to do better, live better, believe better. You showed up today. That counts. You kept going when it would have been easier to give up. That matters. You kept the faith when you didn't see results. That's powerful. Don't let the absence of dramatic change make you forget that transformation often happens in silence. A seed grows underground before it ever breaks the surface. The enemy wants you to focus on your flaws. He wants you to feel discouraged, to feel like you're behind, like you're not doing enough. But God wants you to see the beauty in your becoming. You're not stuck. You're in progress. You're not behind. You're in process. Progress doesn't always look pretty. It's not always clean, but it's movement. It's forward, and that's what matters. Too many people give up not because they're failing, but because they're unaware of how much they've already grown. They think that nothing's happening, but the truth is God's been working the whole time. Every step of obedience, every decision to stay hopeful, every act of kindness and forgiveness, that's shaping you into who you were created to be. You may not be where you want to be, but can I tell you, you're further than you think. You've already overcome things you once thought would break you. You've already conquered fears that used to paralyze you. You've already walked through storms that you didn't think you'd survive. That's not small. That's strength. That's progress. It's Instead of beating yourself up over how far you still have to go, take a moment to thank God for how far you've already come. That mindset will keep you in faith. It'll keep you encouraged. And it will give you the strength to keep moving forward. You're not falling behind. You're just being refined. God's preparing you step by step. And every step matters. There are times in life when we feel stuck, like nothing is changing. We've prayed, we've believed, we've done our best, but the situation hasn't turned around. The breakthrough hasn't come. The healing hasn't arrived. The dream still looks distant. And in those moments, it's easy to assume that because we can't see anything happening, nothing is happening. But the truth is, just because you can't see doesn't mean God's not working. He's always working behind the scenes, arranging things in your favor, lining up the right people, the right doors, the right opportunities, even when you feel forgotten. God sees what you can't see. He's not limited to what's visible. He's not restricted by time or circumstances. While you're looking at the outside, the lack of progress, the silence, the delay, God is moving on the inside. He's working in the hearts of people. He's softening the ground. He's shifting circumstances. He's making a way where there seems to be no way. You may feel like you're in the dark, but that's exactly where seeds grow, in the dark, in the quiet, in the unseen. Think about how a baby develops in the womb. For months, there's no visible sign of life. The mother can't see what's happening. Others can't see what's happening, but something miraculous is forming beneath the surface. Growth is happening in private. The same is true in your life. You may not see the full picture right now, but that doesn't mean your promise is not on the way. God is forming it, growing it, developing it in His perfect timing. There are things God is doing in the background of your life that you'll only understand later. You'll look back and say, "Oh, now I see what God was doing. Now I understand why it took so long. Now I realize why that door closed, because God had something better." Just because you don't understand what He's doing now doesn't mean He's not doing anything at all. You have to trust His timing, trust His wisdom. Trust that He's not ignoring your prayers. He's answering them in the best possible way. Sometimes what feels like delay is really divine protection. You might think, "I should have gotten that job." Or, "Oh, why didn't that relationship work out?" But what you don't see is that God is steering you away from what would harm you, what would slow you down, what would break your spirit. He sees the full picture. He knows what's coming around the corner. If He's saying wait, it's not punishment. It's preparation. God is not in a hurry. He works in seasons, in process, and timing, and His timing is always perfect. You may feel like you're falling behind, but you're actually right on schedule. He hasn't forgotten your dream. He hasn't abandoned your calling. He's still writing your story. And it's better than anything you could write for yourself. What He's building is lasting. It's strong. It's rooted. But that kind of foundation takes time. You don't have to see it to believe it. That's what faith is. Faith is saying, "But God, I don't see how, but I know You're making a way. I don't see progress, but I believe You're working it out. I don't understand the timing, but I trust Your plan." When you live with that kind of trust, it opens the door for miracles. It positions you for blessings. It keeps you in peace when everything around you says panic. God often works in hidden places. While others are applauded, promoted, or celebrated, you may feel overlooked. But don't be discouraged. What's hidden now will be revealed at the right time. When God elevates you, no one can stop it. When He opens a door, no one can shut it. When He says it's your season, you won't have to force it. It will come naturally, gracefully, and powerfully. Even in silence, God is speaking. Even in stillness, He's moving. Even when you feel forgotten, He is watching over every detail of your life. He is orchestrating your steps, preparing the way, guiding your heart. And when the time is right, everything will fall into place. The right connections will appear. The right opportunities will align. So keep your head up. Keep your faith strong. Keep doing what's right, even when no one notices. Keep praying, keep praising, keep believing. What's happening behind the scenes is just as important as what happens on stage. And one day, what was hidden will be seen. What was slow will speed up. What was quiet will become undeniable. God is not just watching you, He's working for you. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not coming. Keep walking in faith, not by sight. What He promised you, He will fulfill. He's not a God who teases, He's a God who delivers. And even now, even in the waiting, even in the wondering, He's working behind the scenes for your good. Ready for expansion of Keynote 4 next. You said expand 4 into maximum remove. Heading and conclusion, ChatGPT said, certainly. Here's Keynote 4 fully expanded in the inspirational tone of Joel Osteen without heading and conclusion. Life has a way of throwing things at us we didn't ask for, unexpected challenges, closed doors, people who let us down, situations that seem unfair. In the middle of those trials, it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to lose our joy, to complain, to ask, why is this happening to me? Why is it taking so long? Why isn't God answering my prayers? But what I've learned is this: you have to make a decision, not to let frustration take over your spirit, but to choose faith over frustration. To say, God, I may not understand it, but I trust you. I don't see a way right now, but I believe you're making one. Faith is not about everything going your way. It's about trusting God even when nothing seems to be going your way. It's easy to praise Him when the doors are opening and life feels good. But real faith shows up when the doors are closed, when the answers are delayed, when the situation looks impossible. That's when you say, oh Lord, I'm not going to focus on what's wrong. I'm going to focus on who you are. I know you're faithful and I know you're in control. Frustration is a trap. It's designed to wear you down. It makes you tired, bitter, short-tempered, and impatient. It causes you to miss out on the joy of the present moment because you're too focused on what isn't happening yet. But faith keeps you grounded. Faith lifts your eyes above the problem. It reminds you that your story isn't over, that just because things haven't changed yet doesn't mean they never will, that behind every delay is a divine reason, a purpose you can't see. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is not in doing something big, it's in staying still, trusting quietly, and refusing to complain when you have every reason to. It's in keeping a good attitude when nothing is changing. It's in saying, God, I'll keep showing up. I'll keep praying, keep praising, keep believing, even when you feel stuck, even when you're tired, even when the situation seems unfair. That's the kind of faith that moves the heart of God. What you focus on is what grows. If you focus on the frustration, it will multiply. If you dwell on the delays, the disappointments, the people who wronged you, you'll start to feel defeated. But if you shift your focus to God's promises, to His faithfulness, to His track record in your life, something powerful begins to happen. Hope rises, peace comes, strength returns. And suddenly, you're not just enduring, you're moving forward, you're growing, you're stepping into everything God has for you. There's power in perspective. The same situation that can break one person's spirit can build another person's faith depending on what they choose to focus on. Don't let your emotions steer your life. Don't let your feelings be the final voice. Emotions are real, but they're not always right. Your feelings may say it's never going to happen, but faith says it's just a matter of time. Your feelings may scream, it's over, but faith whispers, a God is still working. You have to train your heart to lean into faith, not frustration. You have to develop spiritual discipline to say, this isn't easy, but I'm still going to trust. I'm still going to be kind. I'm still going to be hopeful. That's not weakness, that's strength, that's maturity. That's how you rise above the noise of life and tap into the peace that only God can give. And here's the beautiful thing. When you choose faith over frustration, you shorten the season of struggle. When you refuse to give in to bitterness, when you praise in the middle of the problem, when you worship instead of worry, you're preparing the atmosphere for breakthrough. God honors your trust. He sees your attitude. He rewards your perseverance. The scripture said, do not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up. That means every time you respond with faith, you're planting seeds for your future harvest. People may not understand why you're still smiling, why you're still standing, why you're still believing. They may wonder how you haven't lost your mind after everything you've been through. But what they don't realize is that you've learned the secret. Faith over frustration. You've learned that complaining doesn't change things, but praising does. Worry doesn't fix anything, but worship can open doors no man can shut. Maybe you're in a season right now where things aren't adding up. You've been faithful, but the answer hasn't come. You've been patient, but the breakthrough hasn't arrived. Let me encourage you. Don't let frustration take root. Don't let it cloud your vision. Keep your heart soft. Keep your spirit open. Keep declaring, "Oh God, I know you're good. I know you're for me. I know your plans for me are greater than anything I could imagine." This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to shut down or let negativity in. This is the time to dig your heels in and say, "I'm going to trust God like never before. I'm going to rise above the emotions. I'm going to speak life, speak hope, speak victory, even when I don't feel it yet." That's the kind of faith that breaks chains. That's the kind of faith that invites miracles. God is not looking for perfect people. He's looking for people who will trust Him even when it's hard. People who will choose to focus on His promise instead of the problem. And if you'll make that choice day after day, moment by moment, you'll find strength you didn't know you had. You'll rise above the storm. And you'll walk into the future He's already prepared for you. Not frustrated, but full of faith, no matter what you're facing. Remember this, pain is temporary, but progress is eternal. Every step you take in faith, every moment you choose to trust instead of complain, every time you rise above the frustration, you're building something greater within yourself. You're not just enduring, you're evolving. Keep your focus on what God is doing in you and through you, even if it's not visible yet. He sees your effort, honors your faith, and He's leading you to a future far greater than you can imagine. Keep pressing forward. Your progress is proof that your promise is on the way.